Hello, watchers and listeners, and thanks for tuning in to another Northern Lights Books author interview plunge. Today, we continue exploring international authors with science fiction and technical book author Fabrice Stefan, whose real name is Fabrice Rigaux, but he's got a good pen name. It's based on a cathedral in Vienna. Fabrice is a Native American who's lived most of his life in France and has always worked in international environments. We'll have to ask if his fiction takes on multiculturalism or cultural bias. He lives in Macon, France with his wife and two children. His day job is as a consultant in information systems and technology, and he's a university professor. Fabrice recently published his first science fiction novel. Yay, Fabrice! Human StarPilots. It involves ecological collapse, alien salvation, DNA exploration, hyperspace jumps, and according to Fabrice, gives a nod to Heinlein's Have Spacesuit Will Travel and the work of L.E. Modisette. He's also written trade technical books and writes in both English and French, one of which is, and I'm going to botch the pronunciation, folks, just so you'll know, Bien acheter son informatique en PME. And you can't see, but he's kind of nodding, kind of politely nodding at me, going, yeah, okay, fine, good. Purchase cloud applications, 10 questions to buy smarter. Watchers and listeners, please welcome Fabrice Rigaux, also known as Fabrice Stefan. Hello, yay, thank you. Bonjour, monsieur. Okay, good, fine. I can't speak French, all right. How are you today, sir?
Good, good.
Thank you for taking the time. It's late in the day where you are, correct?
Oh, it's end of the day. Yeah, a couple of half an hour before I pick up the kids.
Oh,
so
okay.
We're getting to the end of the day. Absolutely.
Good. Very good. I don't want to keep you. I know you're on that schedule, so we're going to get right into the questions. Sir, you are wonderfully bilingual and bicontinental, if that's a word. Does multiculturalism or cultural identity or bias play a role in Human StarPilots? Or will you be writing about that in your future fiction titles?
It has played a role and it will continue. I hope it will get better with the next books. I have characters from all over the world in Human StarPilots, and I chose to. They are not enough localized. Their culture could be better expressed than I did, but that was the first attempt, and I want to get better at it and show better every side of our planet. And Human StarPilot is also about meeting other cultures and what you feel when you get into a culture you don't know nothing about when you arrive, and what you go through in that condition. So it's both within us and meeting other human outside.
Excellent, very good. You're also a university professor, and I believe you teach courses for certifications and certain things. So where do you teach and what are the subjects?
I've been teaching in engineering school about practical of life in the industry. There's a lot of theory in the courses in university, and I'm teaching in last year of university to future engineers about real daily life, specifically focusing on software, cloud software in companies. How do you live in real life with problems, with things that shouldn't happen but do happen, and how do you cope with them? So that's really getting them prepared for their future working life, switching from academic.
That's kind of fascinating, because my next question is, does your knowledge of information systems and technology cause you problems in your fiction, like when computers don't work? Do you have perfect computers in your fiction, or there's no Windows software in your fiction?
Well, there's a discussion. I don't want to spoil things, but there is a reflection on artificial intelligence. Technology does break. There is this question, of technology, how it works, how it breaks down to on Earth, how we cope with it. So there's a lot. It's tainting my my science fiction naturally.
Very good. You wrote, and when we talked earlier, you also shared that Human StarPilots was inspired by Heinlein and Modisette. How did they inspire you?
Heinlein, because I read Heinlein when I was a kid, and then two great books, Have a Spacesuit Will Travel. That's an incredible freedom, and then, well, and the character decides to do something, and he achieves it. That's extremely powerful as a structure. And there was also Double Star, this political, this actor that becomes a politician that has to embody a politician and will become the character is playing. This kind of freedom, this kind of we're going somewhere, we're going to explore, and everything is possible. And then I read all the works from, well, lots of works from Mr. Desert, and is always thinking of ecology, of how the society will work in the future, how we're going to be responsible for our actions. And it is very interesting. The way it's projecting is trying to build future societies in a very interesting manner. Very had me think a lot about how we could work in a future world. So
That would be the Recluse series?
the Recluse, but also a science fiction work like Gravity Dreams,
Oh.
Ace, and there's also the name of the series is The Endless Twilight.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Forever Hero, and Forever Hero was also a great singing for me.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. Let us say that you are stranded on a desert island and you can have one person with you for company, and it's not Heinlein and it's not Modisette. Who would it be?
It's a deep question. First answer would be my wife, most definitely. If not, that would be either the Martian, character from the Martian who can grow anything, anywhere, and survive about most anything would be a perfect person.
Well, congratulations on selecting your wife. I think that's wonderful, wonderful statement of your relationship. What would your readers be most shocked, surprised, or stunned to learn about you? And you can't get away by saying you're just a boring and dull person. That's my line. I'm the guy who's boring and dull. So
um,
that you don't really speak French or English, you're a telepath, and it's all a disguise. That's what they'd be shocked to find out.
that would be probably, but it's not, unfortunately. Um, that's that's a rather difficult question. And it's you need a lot of self-reflection to know what is surprising about you. I don't know. I worked down under, and that brought me a lot. But I don't think they would be shocked to learn I worked down under. What could they be surprised or shocked about? There's not a lot. I'm really a quiet guy, working and trying to take care of my family and trying to write, and that's a lot already without having revelation to make to readers. I'm trying to live plainly, and that's already a lot.
That's wonderful, though. I congratulate you. I don't think people need to have something shocking or surprising in their lives. I think being a quiet person is a wonderful way to exist. So good for you. All right. So you're a nice, quiet fellow. You live in Macon, France, with your loving wife, who you want to go to a desert island with. And you won't tell your two kids that. They have to stay home. Okay. What do you enjoy spending your time doing when you're not writing?
Um, I started quite recently ice skating. I was skating a lot, but now I've gone into ice skating and with my oldest child, and I love ice skating, even without him. That's really a fantastic feeling. That really is a thing currently.
So ice skating is going to show up in one of your future novels.
Not sure yet, but it may play a part one day or another.
Oh,
But
it'll be a scene. You'll have to put it in, and good for you that you're doing that. So we're going to see you on the Olympics, and
I don't know, but why not? But
that
no,
and that will shock your readers that you're actually a gold medalist in ice. There we go.
that would shock me first.
Yeah,
But
well, that's see, and you heard it here first, folks. When did you realize you wanted to be a writer? You were talking about being a young person, a kid reading Heinlein. When did you say, I could do this?
I was writing a lot of things very early in my life, very early, around 15, between 15 and 20. Um, and I think it showed because when I had my first novel out, one of my best friends told me, I knew it, you already had it in you from back then. So yeah, I was writing small pieces, small things, but I'm not a short story writer. It's a very specific skill. Uh, having this very straight story like Fredric Brown can write in science fiction.
Yes.
He was the last man on Earth, and someone knocked at the door. End of story. Wonderful, incredible. But I don't have that knack, and I think I lost time writing things I was not made to write. And well,
Well, thank you for mentioning Fredric Brown. He was one of my heroes. I loved reading his stuff. Okay, so you were born in the U.S. You lived most of your life in France. What is your first childhood memory?
very few of the US. I went back to my hometown when I was about 20, but very, very few. I was born in Bellingham, that's in Washington State, close to the border to Vancouver. Very nice town, but very few memories, more pictures than that. Then I came back in France, in a town south of France called Lannemezan, close to the Pyrenees. And my former memories are my oldest memories are of the Pyrenees mountain, very nice mountain range under a very blue sky because it's all very sunny down there.
Very good.
Uh,
I wish was able to see it. What was your first job?
First job, I was a process engineer in a soap plant of a very large American soap and all that type of goods manufacturer. So that was Procter and Gamble,
Mhm.
and I was making soap, traditional soap.
Very good. All right. Human StarPilots. Now, I believe that came out recently.
Yeah,
Very
that
good.
was.
Congratulations. That's good for you. So, how did you celebrate the publication of Human StarPilots? You whisked your wife off to a desert island for an afternoon. What did you do?
No, we took a bottle of champagne. We're in France. We're close to Burgundy, and we had a good bottle of champagne to celebrate.
Congratulations. I wish the listen, because we're doing this and everyone can only see Fabrice, I know, but I am glowing. I am smiling. Oh, it is grand. It is grand.
If you live in France, you have to enjoy some things.
Yes, and to celebrate with the publication of your book, I'm thrilled for you. I truly am. Heinlein and Modazit are your genre heroes. Who are your favorite fictional characters?
There's a lot of them. Most favorite is Cyrano de Bergerac. So that's this French musketeer having extraordinary adventures, and he has a terrible nose where no one looks at him, and especially the girl he most love in the world, and she will discover he has loved her since the beginning, just at the end. It's a very romantic play by Edmond Rostand, and it's a wonderful play. Was adapted to movie and was also incredible.
Yes. What do you want your readers to remember most about Human Star Pilots? What do you want them to have as the takeaway? And for your future titles as well. Is there a theme in your writing?
Um,
Recurring theme?
it's a bit early in my writing. I'm on the sequel to Human StarPilots. I've been there are different things. First thing is that as a reader, I do love science fiction story that close upon themselves, that have they can have sequel, but every plot either has a hand or has a sequel identified, and in the sequel is handled. So something that is very tight. Um, I love those open worlds. One of my favorite books is Dune by Herbert. Is an incredible master work. I would dream to write like him, but he had a tendency to open new venues all the time and not closing his ideas. So it's really to have something that is satisfactory because it opens, there's a middle and hand. That's really because it's something that annoys me in some books, and some other books are incredible for that. First thing. Second thing, that they travel with the book, they travel with the character, they have a nice time outside, well, down to earth issues and down to earth problems, that they travel with me. That's really the takeaway. That's the most fantastic takeaway. You end up a book and you say, wow, there was a couple hours I spent elsewhere. And that's really what I want them is to travel, have a little bit of thought, but we are not here to make philosophy. We're here to have pleasure, reading, and adventure.
Great, great. I love it. So it sounds to me that childhood joy in the reading is still there with you.
It
Just
is.
listening to what you described, that to me was when I was a kid, like you when you were a kid and picking up E. Doc Smith, the Skylark series, or the Heinlein
Yeah.
books, the juvenile Heinlein books, and just the joy of being caught in those storylines for a while. So you mentioned that one of your friends, somebody who's known you for a while, when they were going through your book, talking with you, they said, I knew you always had this in you. So was this person one of your first readers? Were they, do you use critiquers, first readers for your books?
I had first readers. First reader was my dad,
Mm-hmm.
was also doing the art in the book. A couple pictures that were designed by him. He was the one who initiated me to science fiction, and he was the one who had in the home library all the Heinlein and other old fiction magazine and Galaxy as well.
Wow.
So he was the first reader. There was really a father and son thing, and he had well idea and contribution to the second book. Then I had the book edited, and the editor made a wonderful read of the book with suggestions and ideas. And there was a second reader that was most helpful. Afterwards, I had a couple of issues finding readers. Living in France and having a book in English is not the easiest way of finding a reader.
Mm-hmm.
But well, this friend is now reading the book and is halfway through, so I'm getting feedback
Good.
from everybody.
Excellent. Um, as an author, you've written technical and you've written fiction, and I'm guessing that as a college professor, you write stuff for your students too. So, as an author, What did you find most useful learning to write? And what was the least useful or most destructive thing you learned when learning to write?
Um, the most useful was the habit of writing a little every day.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Keep in the mood, keep the work going, and if you're stuck somewhere, continue. I usually write a quite detailed outline. The next book is 10,000 words for the outline, so
Wow.
rather detailed.
Yeah.
But that's the thing I learned in my first book. I do need it, and when I'm stuck, I need to move forward. That's very well. That was very useful. Little all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's coupled paragraph doesn't matter, but just move on a paragraph at a time.
Mm-hmm.
The most destructive is um, it's complex because it's a self-criticism that doesn't work. It's really when reading the book again about closing loose ends, about announcing what will happen afterwards, is making sure of the details, but not criticizing beyond that. Really keeping focused when rereading. It's very hard not to lose yourself when you read again. I find, and I really have to keep focus on okay, here I have shown, that was one of the examples that struck me. There's a pistol shown in an introduction chapter. Do I use it afterwards or not? If not, it gets out. If
Yes.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I use a pistol later on. Can I introduce it somewhere earlier so that everybody knows it's here and in a nice fashion? Um, so that really separates this type of a story, really a detailed building and blind criticism.
Okay.
That was hard.
Very good. So you write a little bit every day. You very detailed outline, 10,000 words. That's a novella right there. Long short story anyway. What do you enjoy about the writing process? And what part of writing is no fun? What part of writing do you just wish you'd shoot the son of a?
What I enjoy most is the way characters will build themselves and situations and places, because at one time you do need to introduce a character, so you will set it or set her in the story, and then you need him or her again later, and progressively this character that was completely secondary is becoming bigger and bigger, and that's really fascinating because I have this outline quite detailed, and yet I get surprised by the places
Mm-hmm.
and the characters. So
Mm-hmm.
that's very cool. Um, the most difficult, I'm well a native English speaker, but I've been raised and taught in school in French. And the biggest hurdle for me is to make sure I'm not using always the same words, to have very detailed adjectives and colors and shades of vocabulary. Um, I love to use this word start, and when I counted on Human StarPilot first version, I had, I don't know, 60, 70 start in the book, which is far too many. So this is it's really work for me to
Mm-hmm.
get into this good vocabulary level and precise vocabulary.
Okay. So, Human StarPilots, and you said you have another one, a sequel, and you're
Yeah.
working on. Okay, good. So, if you can spend time with a character from Human StarPilots or the sequel, who would the character be, and what would you guys do during the day?
Oh, uh, there are plenty of characters. Um, I would It's gonna sound French, but probably the main heroes, or well, like a couple of the characters. Actually, there's a group of students that moves outside. And it would probably be time with them because they all have a part of me very different, and around a nice table with tapas to make it a bit more multicultural, but and talk about travels. Where have you been, and what did you do, and I found this nice hotel in that location, and this type of talk about you've been at the other side of the galaxy, or at least of the spiral arm, and what did you see there?
So you're an adventurer, basically.
I've always wanted to see what is on the other side of the next hill.
Yes, yes. See, now that's what people might be surprised or shocked, because you're a quiet guy and you don't do much. Okay. But really, you're a closeted, you are Cyrano without the nose. Okay, very good. What character in your books are you least likely to get along with?
There's a couple of teachers that are really not teaching the way a human person should teach.
Sounds like some of my physics professors. Go ahead.
Well, and there's a couple of self-interested people, very manipulative, that I really wouldn't like meeting in real life. I've tried to make not too many monolithic people. They do have reason for their actions, even if we don't like them. But some I really want to spend any time with.
Okay, very good. Fabrice Rigaux, writing as Fabrice Stefan. I want to thank you for your time. I've got one more question for you, sir. Are you ready?
Ouch. It's going to be hard. Go.
Yeah. What question do you wish that someone would ask about you or your book, but nobody has?
Ow. Yuck, 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 yuck. That's a tough one again. Actually, they were in all my friends' reactions. There were a lot of the question I would have liked them to ask, and they did ask them. So I was very lucky by it. It's a bit too new for me about this. I think the real question is, how far can I go in this science fiction writing direction, and I don't know, and we don't know yet. It's really it's already a joy of writing and publishing. But that's probably the question. Is currently it's really sharing, enjoying writing, enjoying publishing, and then and enjoying the first contact with readers. But where does it lead? Where's the next step beyond writing another book? Where will it lead? And I don't know.
Over the next hill. It's going to lead you over the next hill.
Probably.
And that's the adventure. Fabrice, writing as Fabrice Stefan, Human StarPilots, and more to follow. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank
Truly
you.
appreciate it. Everyone watching and listening, we will have links to all of Fabrice's social presences and his books, of course, on this webpage. Thank you, sir. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.